Welcome everyone to episode good of what I'm going to call episode 1 of Goods, the collection or a collection of goods. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Collection of goods. I just riffed that off the top.
Like that.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right.
Collection of goods.
So we're talking about Jake Bullock's amazing collection of yo-yos, which it's amazing for sentimental reasons. It's amazing. He has a lot of cool anti-yo prototypes and things that have a lot of monetary value, but most of his yo-yos are like interesting because they play important roles in the progress of yo-yo culture and things of that nature and the sentimental value. I'm sorry, I don't mean to put words in your mouth about it.
No, you're right.
But yes, so speak on it. We have a select few. He's got probably like maybe 150 personal yo-yos, not counting the
probably
hundreds.
I got dunks. A lot. Yeah, and then the dunk room over there. But I don't know where to begin. I guess with the oldest yo-yo here.
You think that's the oldest one, the Renegade? Yeah, probably. Yeah,
probably definitely. The Renegade, which comes from before my time, but all our times. But it's just legendary in its own way because of. I mean, I guess in Spin Doctors videos they would use them sometimes, but even those people are mostly using freehands.
Yeah, it was like right.
It's kind of hard to find footage of like Renegade.
That was like 98 to 2000 kind of, and then I think the freehand one was like 2001.
Yeah,
if you look at older Spin Docs videos, like the first,
really old.
Like, yeah,
but I think what makes it appealing is the guys like Spencer and Paul Escolar would talk about how they use these to make up all the tricks, and then they would film them with freehands. But like Suicide, I think was invented on this. And they're just an insane starburst. Like you can probably hear it. Just so this one's
you played with that one.
Yeah, this one's nice, dude. Usually they snap right back, but just super heavy duty starbursts in these things,
They're
which
still
are
not easy to use. Like more than one layer of string.
Right.
You try to do a trick that's against the spin and like it's snapping back.
But they're a unique shape ahead of its time for sure.
It's and the shape is modular, so you can make it imperial. You can make a pagoda shape. You ever play with a pagoda shape yo-yo?
There's no point.
No, I never actually have. So the first time I ever met Johnny DeValier was at like this YoYo Jam tour, and he came to Mitchell's. Yeah, and he was there super early. Flew in from California. Joe Mitchell went up to the airport to Philly to pick him up, and we showed up to Mitchell's hours in advance and didn't expect him to be there. It was seriously like 10 o'clock in the morning, and Johnny DeValier was like 21, maybe 22 years old, just like sitting at this table, and I was like 15 at the time. And I walk in. I had been yo-yoing with unresponsive yo-yos for like a year, but like everyone in Yo-Yo Club, we all played with like responsive Renegades and shit, because Mitchell's was an old club, so it was like, oh cool, let's cut our teeth and see what we can do. But we like didn't challenge Johnny, but we told him, we're like, oh, we do this thing in club where we all try to do like our hardest tricks of the Renegade type thing, like, you want to play? And he was just like, oh yeah, this is cool, it's kind of interesting. And like he was still half asleep though, and just like stood up and literally did like one of the tricks he won using like at his world winning freestyle on a Renegade first try. Like didn't have to take a second try, didn't give it like a test throw or give it like a test trapeze, or literally just threw right into it. Damn. Did the trick first try, and then like Tug responded it back and gave it back to the person and sat back down. I was like, wow, that dude's a fucking pro. Like, yep. That's wild. And then he only had one bearing. He had 4 hitmen and 1 bearing that he would take out. And if he wanted to play with a different hitman, he would put it in a different yo-yo.
That's crazy.
All right, what's next? We'll start moving these to the side after you. What'd you just do, the Renegade?
We got, this is kind of a cool yo-yo.
Yeah, these are rad.
This is, if you watch the Goods episode with Eric Klosky, he touches on this a little bit, but.
Good plug, thank you.
Yeah, people would put.
Sorry, Kurti.
Coral Snake was a yo-yo by Henry's. And it was like this kind of crappy yo-yo with these big rubber rings on it. So people would cut those rings off of it and put it on better yo-yo bodies.
It's funny that you're right. It was a crappy yo-yo, but I think the Coral Snake didn't have a metal body.
Yeah, it had a metal body. But it had like no response system. Yeah, it just had the little circles, I think. So you had to either throw pads in it or... Which
weren't really available at the time. Like this predated the Freehand one, the Coral Snake, So
this one is unique in that this particular yo-yo wasn't probably created out of necessity like Eric Klosky's were. This was created just for fun. This Takeshi Kamisato did this, and he called it a bootleg throw monkey. So
do you have another throw monkey to compare it to?
Only the one in package. But if you Google throw monkey,
can you grab it out of the drawer?
Yeah, it's the bottom drawer.
Just the yo-yo in package. You can bring your phone with you over there. It's fine.
This is a Freehand 2 body that he cut down on a lathe and then put coral snake rims on and made the Bootleg Monkey.
Yeah. So they look pretty similar. I'm going to get a close-up of everything.
Yeah.
But
Bootleg Monkey's smaller and the rims are a little tinier and it played a little bit differently.
And the rims, like the Henry's rubber is actually like a
really
nicer
hard,
rubber. Right. So like the durometer is harder and it wouldn't like grab your skin as much if it touched your finger versus a Throw Monkey was
For
like
sure.
super like sticky rubber.
No doubt. So that's just an interesting old piece of modding history. And Takeshi Kamisato invented the recessed sticker mod, which is in this yo-yo, a hyper freehand translucent one.
Very sick.
They made blue and red. They didn't make clear, did they?
No. Basically, Bandai, like the toy company, when they do a hyper yo-yo campaign, they will contact yo-yo manufacturers and license their yo-yo designs. So this is kind of similar to a Freehand Zero. I don't think it's 1-for-1. It might be just a tiny bit different.
Because the caps are sonically welded.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, because in Japan, because of safety laws, well, it's funny because you can buy a Freehand 1 in Japan, right? But like, I guess because this toy was
manufactured there.
I don't know if it was made in Japan or not, but like maybe because it was specific for the Japanese market or something, maybe. I don't know. There was just something about the safety laws at the time that they weren't removable. I've never thought about that loophole where it's like they sell other freehands that have removable caps, but this one, I don't know. But amazing yo-yo. The sonic welded caps do give it like a little bit more of a solid feeling. Like
it feels different. People really loved hyper freehands, partly because of the artwork is really cool.
Yeah, the artwork is super cool. The Freehand Zero artwork is kind of trash.
And partly because it was like harder to acquire. But I think there is something to be said for how they played too.
I cannot believe this yo-yo is 20 years old. Yeah. 2003. It has the year on it. Like it's wild. Jack Rinka told me a really funny, well, it's not funny, but when I was a kid, he was like, yeah, one time I was at the Duncan factory and it wasn't the factory, but like the warehouse in Ohio. He's like, they had just a whole pallet of hyper freehands that didn't have stamps on the caps and they had to incinerate them because they didn't have any sort of Duncan marking on them. I was like, what the fuck? Wow. What a random story. Yeah, but how funny. Yeah. It's interesting. These are worth like $100 now for a plastic yo-yo. So very amazing. And I think this is the same color that Takeshi used in that Hans Rocks video we were just talking about. So like, and he uses it in like a super well-lit room.
That for me,
it's like, it just lens flares the whole video. Looks super cool. Yeah, super dope yo-yo. All right, what's next? Probably
let's get this since this is sort of hyper yo-yo adjacent, right? Or
kinda. So Aldi does a similar thing where they will license designs from other manufacturers, but I think that might be an original Aldi design, and then they later translated it into this guy.
Yeah. So if you remember Worlds 2016, they released this 9 Dragon Z type yo-yo, whatever you want to call it, where it has these outside bearings.
The whole Blazing Teen thing.
Yeah.
Blazing Teens, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I wonder
they're just fun yo-yos.
How that did for Hasbro at the time. Like how many yo-yos they sold. It didn't really help yo-yo blow up at the time. It'd probably do a lot better now with TikTok, but
I think it did in China though, I think, right?
Yeah, it did amazing in China and has for a long time. That new girl I'm dating from China said that like Blazing Teens was a huge deal in China, like when she was a kid.
It was Blazing Teens in China.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to Blazing Team for the US.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
All right, what's next?
We got some Buzzons here.
2 Buzzons.
2 Element X's.
Are they both marble?
Yeah, they're both marble. Dude.
I love how Dave was so ahead of his time with like the colors as far as being like, I feel like brands who do like browns and yellows and oranges are like
he did a lot
bands,
of browns.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He was like kind of ahead of his time with that.
This guy, Dave Buzzon, this one's cool. This is a Buzzon Family Edition. So it's like
is that 69?
Is it?
It's number 69.
Yeah, it is. Number 69. So he would number the caps. These were just really like, they sort of bridged the gap between like monoplastic, like the freehand. It's basically a freehand shape, but he took metal rings and put them inside it. And really no one else like came close to making a yo-yo like the Element X. Like YoYo Jam was its own thing. This was just very I don't know. They were so unique, and they had a cult following and a really cult team.
Amazing team. It's kind of crazy.
Jesse Garcia, Miggy,
Paul Yacht, Dana Bennett, Masanobu Iwatawa from Japan.
Mark Montgomery.
I forgot about Mark Mon for a second. Yeah, they had an amazing team, and it's kind of crazy because like their last year in business was like 2006, and that was the year Dana won Worlds, or Paul Yacht won Worlds.
Yeah, they had multiple world champions.
And then multiple national champions. That was just like, yo, like how did this not work out? Like how did you?
They were very finicky yo-yos. They had these SPRs in them, which are like metal spacers, kind of like One Drop uses in plastic yo-yos, and they had a patent on that. It was a really cool thing. You could change bearing size really easily from A size bearing to C size bearing.
Like small bearing to large bearing.
Yeah, small to large, because you just swap out these spacers and they became the bearing seat. But they were very wobbly, and they had these hex nuts underneath the caps that you had to spin the hex nut and then screw it back together, throw it until it was smooth, and then you would mark it with like a Sharpie.
Yours aren't recessed either. Like your SPRs are just raw.
So later they recessed the SPRs.
I was supposed to help, but I don't know how much it actually did or not.
Just a really like finicky, weird yo-yo, but very good when you got a good one. So the guys on the team would have like good ones and that they found by like, testing the yo-yos and stuff.
I remember that. I remember everyone on the team having like a case of good ones that they wouldn't let anyone play with. And just be like, these are the competition ones. Please don't play with them.
So they're just important, I think, to yo-yo history, for me anyways.
Yeah, they're fun.
Of how interesting of a company they were and how cool the team was, basically.
Yeah. I wish someone needs to do some like short yo-yo documentaries about stuff like that and just like cover the models and the team and just scour the internet and try to find as many pictures as they could of cool stuff, because like there were so many cool colorways. Remember the Rogue?
Yeah,
like there were so many cool just things that Dave did back then.
The DV8, which became the DV888, which is like one of the best selling yo-yos ever, probably for like beginners.
It is, yeah, exactly.
It's insane that he just made the DV8. He was a modder himself, so he could mod yo-yos.
Yeah.
And he would just create these things and release.
Modding was like almost 3D prototyping in a way before 3D prototyping was thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. I wasn't saying
just Dave, right, ahead of his time in a lot of ways, and also like unfortunately like too far ahead of his time. Whereas like nowadays, like that, if a company was that successful or had that good of a team, like there would like stores wouldn't let him fail, like stores would be like, yo, like let's give you money to run more yo-yos so that like you can make more, and like because you're such a successful brand that helps the yo-yo community or whatever. But like back then there wasn't enough stores to really do that sort of thing.
No,
he owned a store. He actually had like a brick and mortar store in Texas that it was like a toy store and a hobby store that actually sold yo-yos.
Yeah, he did.
But it's all hard. And then once the economy shit the bed in 2007-8, he just had to shut everything down. And yeah, anyway.
Fascinating company. Here's a YoYo Jam yo-yo called a Spin Master 3 with sort of similar rims to a Element X.
Kind of, yeah, the side placement.
Nice big aluminum rings.
It's insane to me that this yo-yo is 20 years old and the ring placement on it. Like if someone came out with a bimetal like that, now we'd be like, whoa.
No, it's very sick. So that YoYo, the German company, remade the Spin Master 2. So you've probably seen, it's just called the Spin Master X, but this is where that comes from. This is actually a 2003 Japan National Edition, which is cool. It has the date March 30th, 2003. Which is a couple days after my birthday. So after my 12th birthday, which is wild.
That's funny.
This yo-yo is, I don't know. It's just a unique, it's Brent Dillinger's.
It's one of my favorite YoYo Jam yo-yos.
Yeah.
Like they play so well. The ring placement, they're very sensitive, unfortunately. Like they crack very easily. I'm surprised.
This one's pretty good condition. But
this one's amazing condition. Wow. This yo-yo? Yeah. 2000. The first one came out in 2001, I think. This
is probably 2 or 3.
The Spin Master 1, came out in like 2001 or 2002, and it was orange, maybe? And
Spin Master 1 was weird as hell, and then 2 was just like that, except Starburst.
Right, it was red.
And then 3 was O-ring. So people would actually make 2.5s where they took an O-ring, Spin Master 2, half Spin Master 3, and make a hybrid.
I've never heard of that before. That's funny.
People did that.
That would look like shit too, because the red was opaque and the green was cool. This is such a cool color. Like, again, YoYo Jam ahead of their time in so many ways.
You were thinking of the Shockwave, which was similar. That was Cody Taylor's signature.
You're right.
That had a car on it.
Yes.
Yeah. That was really sick yo-yo. Yeah. Really sick. And
it also had a green body too.
The Spin Master, Brent Dillinger, we were just talking about one of the first people to do a horizontal trick on stage in 1A.
2003?
2004. National. I think he got second in nationals that year.
Yeah.
And he was a very good performer ahead of his time, like performance wise. He was very like flashy.
Mickey told me he used to do yo-yo shows in Texas, Brent Dillinger.
Yeah.
Like kind of how I am now. Like during the summer, he would be doing like 2 or 3 libraries a day. But like he lived at home and like his mom booked all of his shit. And like they were very staunch about like, it's $400 a show. That's how much Brent's appearance fee is.
Wow.
Like he made a lot of money. Yeah. And Mickey, like he bought a Porsche, like because I said he lived at home. And
yeah.
And it was like an older Porsche, like a late 80s model or whatever, like a kind of rare one. And he like used to drive Miguel around in it.
Damn.
And he was like, dude, like old white guys used to come up to us and be like, Brendan, like this guy would be like, oh, nice car. Like other older white guys that owned Porsches. And they'd be like, I should be telling you nice car, bud. Like you got a way nicer Porsche than mine. It's like, holy shit. Like, wow. What an interesting guy. But yeah, he seemed like kind of a D-bag too. Everyone said that year at Nationals, he wore a sweater with the price tag still on it.
In the video that we'll watch, he was wearing a sweater with a polo, like a collared shirt underneath the sweater. So the collar's sticking out from under the sweater. And yeah, the fancy sunglasses. He looks very early 2000s.
Super douchey for 2004. Douchey for now, but especially douchey for the time. Also, God, did Kia from Anti ever tell you this story about him when Brent came up to him at Worlds, the difference between sugar-free Red Bull and regular Red Bull? So he goes up to Kia at Worlds and Kia's drinking a sugar-free Red Bull. And he's like, why are you drinking that, man? And he's like, oh, like, you know, it doesn't have any sugar in it. Like the regular Red Bull has a lot of sugar in it. Like it's not regular sugar. So it's kind of bad for you, you know? And he's like, nah, ain't got no tangerine in it. He's talking about Tori.
That rocks. Ain't got no tangerine in it.
Ain't got no tangerine. And but Kia said he didn't say anything, just walked away. I said, ain't got no tangerine and just walked away.
That's like the level of everyone who would say like, there's bull semen in it, you know, dude. Like, remember that? That's what everyone would say.
I gotta remember that.
So silly. So here's another yo-yo jam that's one of my favorites, the Big Ben.
I'm gonna move your beard just so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which was, it was Ben Condi's signature
is weird.
yo-yo.
Isn't that so weird? I think it came out in 2003 too.
And I guess it was made for 1A, but it's big and it's light and hollow.
It's supposed to be made for 4A and 1A.
Oh, okay.
Like
I didn't realize it was supposed to be for 4A. So
it's so weird
that's
so
what it became sick for, is 4A for me anyway. I did a lot of my 4A with this because I did more technical stuff.
It was a great 4A yo-yo.
It's such a great 4A yo-yo. And the other interesting little bit of lore is how Dave Poyser and Seth Peterson would use it for 5A all the time.
I used it.
They invented like double dice with it. I think I just remember I wish those videos, what was their crew called?
Pretty Boy Spinners.
Pretty Boy Spinners
Dave
videos.
Poyser still has those definitely logged.
I hope he does.
He's a weirdo about that stuff. No, he definitely does. If you hit him up, he would have all of them. He would send you a zip file and everything.
I gotta do that because those videos were so unique and interesting, really artsy, cool clip videos.
Yeah, they were very good.
I remember seeing a clear Big Ben like constantly.
Seth still like every couple months will mention to me, he's like, man, one day when the yo-yo is like more popular than it is now, and like we can get an angel investor, I really want to shoot like a 6 save death video where we just like go around the world with the best players and film like the sickest video with Dave. And I'm like, yeah. Dave goes up to like the Iditarod race in Alaska every year and like films that race. Like he's an insane videographer. But yeah, what a crazy yo-yo. I forgot.
Big Ben rocks.
Certain yo-yos like this you forget exist, but like there's so...
It's nice. It holds up too for 4A.
Yeah. It holds up for everything. If it was silicone, it'd be great. You know what I mean? You could
Did they make those yo-yos? Because I got into the scene in like 2008, I think.
They would have still made them then.
Yeah.
They made them up until they went out of business, I'm pretty sure. Like every year they'd probably do a run of like 1,000 of them or whatever, and they would fill all the retailers. Like it's kind of a good beginner yo-yo too, and I think they were like $20 or like 22 or $25.
$20.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like it's a big yo-yo. It's like a sizable chunk of plastic, you know?
Yeah.
They're fun as hell, though.
Yeah.
I never actually had one, but I don't know. It's like a staple in YoYo Jam.
Yeah, no, for sure it is.
Here's an Aquarius. I just thought it was cool. People used to dye their rims, so I dyed the rims on this one. The rubber rings. I use this for a lot of competitions. Just great.
I still do my demos with Aquariuses because
classic.
I've used like so many Delrin yo-yos that I've just broken like the rim will chip off or whatever, and I'm like, son of.
It was originally Hironori Mi's signature yo-yo before he went to Duncan, so he was pretty much invented off string, and they made him this yo-yo, and it's still, I think, one of the best off string yo-yos ever. It's just like pretty perfect. It's
great, yeah. It is pretty good still. You could remake this out of machined materials with like some kind of rubber rim and it would hold up. Be good.
Maybe you can talk a little about this Severe, which is one of my favorites. This is the 2009 Severe, the first one, right?
Yeah, the first one.
With the caps. That's why I thought it was unique, because it's a metal yo-yo with caps.
Yeah, I wish I was more appreciative of these things when they came out, because Ben was very like experimental and tried to get everyone on the team to have like different looks, you know what I mean? Like he didn't want everyone to have just like a regular, kind of like now when you look at the front page of Yo-Yo Expert, like everything kind of looks the same. It's like just a yo-yo but like a different shape. He wanted everyone to have like their own novelty sort of. So because I won with the freehand, he put the cap on it, and then like these were just super hard to tune, so there's a lot of B grades, and then like Ben was very like open-ended about giving me a lot of creative control, and I was literally 17 when we were making these, so I was like just pitching like ideas, like tons of them, and he was just like not shutting them down but like trying to be smart and calculated and like make me have the best idea that I could come up with, kind of thing. And like it worked out, but like I said, I just wish that I would have been more appreciative at the time and like did more to promote it, and like because it is now like more of a legendary model where people look at it and it's like
people want them.
Yeah, they're hard to get. It's hard to get a good one. And like even the artwork and stuff, like I think I might have talked about this on the podcast with you, just like Yo-Yo Factory had a full-time artist they were paying at the time to make this artwork, and like as a kid you just have no idea about how much this shit costs. And he came to Ben's house with like a spec sheet of these hearts, and he had like 2 or 3 different versions and then like a ton of different colors. Like it was so professional. And like I said, I was like 17 and I was just like yo-yo and looked at him. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I kind of like it. And I'm like thinking back, it's like, this is so incredible. You know what I mean?
The art
it's
rocks.
Like, I can't imagine how he felt at the time. And like the artist wasn't that upset, but Ben was like, Tyler, like if this isn't the one, like we're just gonna do like a word market, we're done. Like this is ridiculous, like we can't do anymore. And I'm like, all right, we'll use this. And then it's pad printed too. It's like, it's like a screen print where like each one of those layers, like
colors,
a shop had to make its own individual stamp and then pad printed. And like I went there and actually got to see the shop calibrate the pad and make them.
I somehow popped them out on this one and painted underneath. You can see.
Yeah, it looks like you use like a really thin screwdriver or something, or I don't know. It was possible at the time to pop them out. Yeah, great yo-yo. Sometimes I think about maybe hitting Yo-Yo Factory up, because if you made that in China, that'd be a easy make. You know what I mean? Like that'd be very easy to produce. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe.
I'm glad I have it. It's cool yo-yo.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, and it was like a vulnerable time in your life when like yo-yoing was probably like one of the few things you could lean on, you know what I mean? And it's like cool to be able to look at it, and like it's a pro model of like a good friend of yours that you have a lot
it was very important to me at the time.
Cool.
Very cool.
I had that same colorway back.
The green was sick. That was one early acid wash too, I feel like, for Yo-Yo Factory.
It's kind of why it looks like shit too, because like at first I would just go to the anodizer and be like, yeah, just acid wash, cool. And then eventually I like would hang out and be like, all right, spray it more, do more. Yeah, because like they wouldn't, you know, like you'd get a batch and they would just be like really weak, and it's like, I know you could have done a better job with this. Like I know that if I was here, like we could have changed it a little bit or whatever. And it's like, you know, it's a whole batch of yo-yos. We're making hundreds of yo-yos. It's not just like a couple here and there. It'd be like a bunch or lackluster. So like, yeah. All right, we're down to some really. I love how you saved all the like. I don't want to say the best stuff, but like the shit with the best stories for last, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some anti-O's. This is, if you want to know all about anti-O, listen to my Goods episode with Tyler. We talk all about how I got on the team and what anti-O was about. But we talked a lot about the flux in that episode, and this is a flux. It's half pink and half black, like we said. Very unique at the time, and it's like rose gold pink.
I remember when I went to Mitchell's like one of the first times, and I forget if there was the Duncan for the ladies freehand had just come out too. That was pink too, and he was like, "Yeah, it's the only 2 pink yo-yos, this and the flux." And I was like, "What the like? Who cares? Like it's just pink." And he's like, "Oh, it's really unique, pink yo-yo." Like they didn't. I think they may have even had a flux at the time at Mitchell's that they hadn't sold
probably.
Yet. And I was just like, "Wow, like pink yo-yo, cool."
And it had these concentric rings around the nipple, which was like a huge nipple. When I went, I worked with a company trying to remake the flux a couple years ago because I wanted to like reissue it as a modern yo-yo. But it was my main request that I needed was the nipple to be huge like this. And they just couldn't. And this was a very reputable machine shop and they couldn't get it. They basically told me it was impossible. So we kind of just gave up. But very unique aesthetically, like how big it is.
Yeah, and at the time, with everything being like a YoYo Jam yo-yo or the Duncan yo-yo, like, so this was released in 2004, and this is what the Duncan yo-yo looked like. It's a fucking monkey. Right. It looks like a minstrel.
This is like
advertisement.
This is like a piece of art compared to everything else at the time. The
They
yo-yo
make a joke
jams.
about it being like inspired by Eames and stuff in the like product description. It was just very highbrow and nothing like yo-yoing had seen at the time, and
it played
very cool.
Not good, but this one's nice. This one is silicone.
But nothing played good at the time.
Yeah,
like,
it played fine at the time.
Yeah,
but by today's standards, it would not be sellable.
Do you remember how every single yo-yo that came out would have like a flaw with it, and then like you would buy it and then it would kind of be fucked up, and then the manufacturer would have to release like an upgradable part afterward to like kind of fix it.
To like fix it, or you'd have to tune it. With yo-yo, with all anti-yos, you had to unscrew a little bit, screw back together, throw it, feel it on your finger, try again. And you would have to do that sometimes literally 100 times before it got smooth. And then once it was smooth, if you hit it on the ground or a counterweight hit it, or you unscrewed it accidentally, you had to start all over again. So it takes a long time to get them smooth. And so there were a lot of complaints of people like, it's not smooth. Like, no, you just tune it. And like literally the company would be like, here's how you tune it. Like, you just need to tune your yo-yos, like, which is just unheard of now. Like, no one would do that. You know?
Now Yo-Yo Rec just tells you to not take apart your just spend $200 on something and don't take it apart.
Right. That's crazy. They actually do that. There were so many issues with the flux.
Are you rolling on your end?
Yeah, there was something.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
That they decided to make the wet, which was just a more modern. It had the more modern axle, not the big fat Diffio style axle.
But the nipple's the same size? No, it's smaller. But.
Smaller nipples, but very close. And then it was pretty unique in that it had 2 O-ring slots, a big one and a smaller one, which I remember Kia was really proud of this. He's like, you can throw 4 O-rings total in it and it'll be responsive, or you can just have 2 small O-rings and it'll be unresponsive. And unfortunately that theory didn't really work.
It probably would have if
it sort of did, but if you had all 4 O-rings in it, it was like almost unplayable.
Yeah, too responsive.
But this is one of the only proto wets, and I remember him being proud of the colorway too. He's like, it's McDonald's, yellow and red. All right, cool.
It is a cool colorway.
Also unique at the time. Shout out to Charles Schuler I traded this to him in probably 2007, and he traded it back to me, or gave it back to me.
Nice.
Which was really nice. I have to have it in my collection.
That is very nice.
And then the final form of the wet came later when Antio Sonny rather started working with One Drop and using side effects. So this is a production wet from that series, but this is just a unique colorway. I call it like the Swamp Edition. It's like a dirty, honestly, it's very close to the olive green Dunk Rebound that I just released.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that is true.
And then the other half is like a cool gunmetal bluish gray. Just a really unique colored yo-yo and pretty rare. Here's another rare yo-yo from that time. This is the BPZL, but this is a prototype, so it's not blasted.
I love how all your prototypes are so played that like the bead blast is worn off and it's shiny and like it's awesome though.
Crazy.
Like you really put some time into.
Yeah. But the production BPZLs were more traditional Bape color, bright green and blue. This is like more of a muted dark green and blue. Just a really cool, another rare one.
Yeah, super rare. It's funny how like you're sentimental, like they're all worth some money, you know what I mean? But like all these prototype anti-yo-yos, they're worth like an absurd amount of money. I remember Sonny, like when he was first starting to like do some of his projects, he like asked who was like the bigger collectors now so he could sell them some stuff. And then he was like, oh, like how much should I charge for them or whatever? And I like was giving him like very inflated prices because the collector could afford them, and like Sonny didn't need to sell them, so it's like this is what you should get for them. Like they're all fucking timepieces, you know what I mean? They're like this is what they should be worth. They're like historical relics, and like the collector was like down, but then like also kind of tripping about it, and the dude is just like horribly rich. So I was just like, dude, I felt so embarrassed that I like tried to connect two people and then it didn't work. It all worked out, and like the dude paid what Sonny wanted for the yo-yos, and Sonny was happy and everything was fine. But I was just like, Jesus Christ, like what you know what I mean? Like collectors are so funny because like I don't know, I've like that guy collects so many other brands and like won't bat an eye at $1,000 for something else, but then all of a sudden, like as soon as an anti-yo-yo comes up, I don't know, maybe he just assumed Sonny didn't need the money or whatever, he needed the money. I don't know what the case was, but it all worked out. Anyway,
they're valuable, and it's so interesting how anti-yo has become one of the most collectible. Like no one, I talked to Brian Koski about it and Kevin Sullivan actually. None of us saw that coming for being like the one of the like most collectible. Like it just didn't seem that way back in the day. Like it was popular and cool
way to me. Like even when they came out, like
interesting.
Everything about it was.
I don't know.
Like it was interesting to me that people even played them as much as they did. You know what I mean? Because they were just so collectible. And like Bapes were like $300 a piece, like easy at one point. I remember like they were not going for any lower than that forever. And then eventually it was kind of like, like $150.
It's funny. I think they were. I wish I remembered the price they were retail. I think they were 60 or.
No, they were 100.
100?
They were 100, yeah.
Okay.
But they made like 400 of them because every store would get 100. Do you remember? Infinite Illusions got 100. Yo-Yo Nation got 100. Like Dave Skill Toys or Extreme Spin or whatever got 100.
It's crazy.
Like, and then maybe Spin Gear got like 50 or something. I don't know. But it's kind of funny how like they just made 400 or 500 of all the same fucking color. Because like now that's absurd. It's like you never moved through that many. Like,
that was their whole style though. That Anti-Yo did not release.
Every brand did
the
that.
Yo-Yo was, you're right. Yeah. The Yo-Yo was one color.
Yeah.
So this is another unique color. This is the Countach, which we talked about. Another one drop Anti-Yo collab, but super unique shape yo-yo.
This one wasn't made at One Drop at the time though, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. As far as I know.
For some reason I remembered like playing with this and asking Sonny, and I feel like it wasn't
you
made
could
at
be
One
right.
Drop at the time.
Okay.
This like predated, I think, the one. This was like 2011 maybe or something, or 2012. Like it was very old.
But it does have one drop side effects.
Yeah.
And this has the little bit more rare red heart side effects with the Anti-Yo heart on it.
Great yo-yo lore. Sonny actually Sonny has CAD and 3D renderings of side effects in like 2004, 2005. Like dated. Like he wanted to make yo-yos with side effects before One Drop ever made side effects a thing. Like BSP is kind of a version of side effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like he couldn't make that yo-yo work that way with the way that everything was proportioned because it was titanium. It couldn't be super wide, you know what I mean? And that diameter. So
that's fascinating. I didn't know that.
It's crazy, right? That's kind of like one of the things that was the nail in the coffin for Sonny, like falling back out of yo-yo. Was just like he tried to do like the new yo-yo that was smooth. Like he tried to do the wet, and then like the yo-yo design like moved a different direction, moved to like all V shape and shit. And it was like, oh, okay, so no one's gonna want this anymore. And then like One Drop, like kind of. He like eventually just started working with them, and they would make yo-yos for him, obviously, and they still do, and they're great. But like, at the time, it was kind of like they beat him to the punch in a way, and it was like, like that kind of took the wind out of him. So
understandable. It's a shame
for sure.
It happens. Let's see. I grabbed some more when we took a break here, real quick.
The Countach itself is just like, I don't know. Anti-Yo has like a great design language, you know what I mean? So many brands nowadays, this gets on my nerves a lot, and I complained to Kurti about this, where everyone will talk about the brand's aesthetics and they really mean the design language, where like all the products look similar, even though like the brand itself has like no artwork to its name kind of thing. It's just like a single serified typeface or sans serif typeface for the yo-yo company, whatever yo-yo company it may be. But like all their yo-yos have a design language, they don't have artwork, you know what I mean? And like Anti-Yo had both, but like their design language is just like unmistakable. Like it looks nothing like any other yo-yos, you know what I mean? And like I don't know, it was just an interesting direction how this was going to go, and it's like a shame that it took so long for it to come out and whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, you're absolutely right. It is interesting. Speaking, I mean, these I just wanted to grab just because I remembered I have some original freehand ones. For some reason, people used to wipe the caps and put a friction sticker on it like this. So I did that when I was young.
I don't know why,
cool
but like
looking.
the pad print on the side of the caps is always shitty. So like it always starts falling off for some reason. Did someone silicone this for you? Oh wow, it is. Yeah. Where did you get this from?
I got it at some yo-yo contest. I traded for it
like years ago or recently.
Yeah, was that one that Sage came to? Was it MAR?
Oh, okay, I kind of remember that. Yeah, one
like
of them.
New Jersey MAR
or New Jersey States, one of them, something like that.
Yeah, and then this one's Takeshi Recessed.
That's sick.
Just a important yo-yo and yo-yo history. Freehand one.
They're very fragile though. Like if you play with them too hard now, I feel like they're just asking to be like to break.
Very crackable yo-yo.
Yeah, the cap, the body, like the plastic itself, like is a very shitty polycarb. It has like a lot of regrind plastic in it, so like if you throw it with a knot, it will melt.
Yeah,
the like bearing seat. So it's
speaking of fragile yo-yos, we got some more yo-yo jams here.
Oh no,
this is a cracked up
poor nipple.
YoYo Jam Hitman. This nipple's about to come all the way out.
Oh Jesus.
The Hitman was my second ball bearing yo-yo ever after the Throw Monkey. So I stepped my game up real fast. Got a Hitman.
I'm gonna grab a
fat rims. Really good.
You keep going.
You're good.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Hitman just kicks ass. You ever have a Hitman, Kurti?
No, I got into yo-yo in like 2008 or so. Okay. I had a Dark Magic.
Yeah, or like a Dark Magic 2 probably.
No,
it was the original.
Yeah, but like I remember people like
Hitman's in nice shape. Feel like it's undersized. It's almost organic shaped, but like just a really.
Small yo-yos were so popular back then.
Yeah, the yo-yo is absolutely sick, and obviously. So many. Eric Klosky talked about how he used the Hitman for years and years.
Hitman's great.
Competition yo-yo through and through.
The plastic, the color's awesome.
Yeah, yellow. Like this bright day glow yellow.
Yeah, YoYo Jam had some amazing colors. I definitely based the train wreck design off the Hitman, even though it looks nothing like it. Just has similar dimensions and.
Yeah, a lot of people have like taken inspiration from the Hitman, but no one's done a straight up Hitman.
Someone should do a 1-for-1 because it would be a very fun.
Yeah.
Someone should do. So there's like a really popular trend with band T-shirts right now on Instagram where all these artists have like bootleg versions. Like artists will like take random like art from a poster that like Oasis did from a concert in like 1994, and they'll like rip the artwork off the poster in Photoshop and then like put it on a t-shirt kind of thing, and then like sell the t-shirt as like a bootleg band merch type thing. But that would be tight if someone did that with YoYo Jam, almost in the vein of what YoYo did. But yeah, I feel like yo-yo companies always shoot themselves in the foot by not doing more with collaborations and ideas like that.
Yeah,
like I always talk shit on that around spinning objects guy, the RSO yo-yos, to the point where they've blocked me on Instagram because I just openly talk shit. I've talked shit on the guy on like 4 or 5 episodes of the goods. I only have like 13 episodes.
Yeah.
But like he does like all these amazing like semi mood boards to accompany the yo-yos, you know, but like no one sees them, no one knows about them. I feel like he did a Tom Kuhn collab that like I've never heard a single person talk about. You know what I mean? And it's like Tom Kuhn made one of the first ball bearing yo-yos, and like he made
incredible.
He made a titanium version of it. Like he did a little interview with Tom or whatever, but like no one's seen any of this. So it's just like, oh, cool, great. Like I don't know. It just sucks that people do things and then it's like here and then it's gone. Like imagine if YoYo got Brent Dillinger to like make a small video, or they even just did a video and talked to him for 10 minutes about the fucking yo-yo or whatever. And I don't know.
Would have been incredible, yeah.
Yeah, just something more than just like, oh, look at this yo-yo. Like this was a cool yo-yo when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Someone needs to make a Hitman for sure.
So a guy in Russia in the earlier 2000s did make a metal one.
I remember that. I remember that on the Yo. He sold it.
Yeah. But I heard it was. I only played with one, and it was very.
I think
vibey.
Kyo has one, maybe Kyler Weems
and Zamstrom. That was like Zamstrom's weapon of choice.
Really,
for like a long time. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Interesting. What a great yo-yo. I get
the
like
hand shit in your hand. It feels so fucking good.
Good hand feel. I wonder what what's the mouth feel like.
It's so good. Here's another classic Yo-Yo Jam, the Night Moves, also reissued by YoYo. But
it's so sad to see all the fucking cracks on all
I
these.
know. And this isn't even original Night Moves one. This is the reissue they did in like 2005, where they re-released the Night Moves one with different caps.
Does it have titanium rings or
no? It's still a Night Moves one.
The Night Moves 3 or something have titanium rings.
Night Moves 3 or 4, yeah. They did all the way to the 6, I think. 5
all the other ones were shitty though. Like the first 3 had amazing artwork,
and then 3 was sick.
Like amazing colors, like the Enyo on that. I think that's what you want to talk about.
This one has Enyo, which is glitter, tiny little bits of glitter in the plastic.
It's a plastic that General Electric made, which I don't know why that was a thing, but like if you look at Junkin actually released some of those Enyo dragonflies that you gave me to mod, they actually released some General Electric versions of it. So
interesting.
It's some kind of plastic,
Incredible plastic.
I've been trying to find it since I've made the first base. Like
SF
got pretty close to
very close, yeah. It's like iridescent, like a beetle, like a weird bug almost. Like it turns
but when
like
you
green
look at it
and
really
blue.
close, you can see the specks of glitter in the plastic. It's so sick.
It's insane.
It's so wild how spoiled we were with shit like this back in the day. And
I wish I had more.
Do you remember YoYo Jam at Worlds would have like just so much fire? Like they would have so many like everything would come out in marble, and they would like tier the releases. They would wave it out the entire time at Worlds, and like it would be so sick. And you would like be friends with the YoYo Jam players, and they would like show you what was coming out, and they'd be like, "Oh, sick!" Like no one does that kind of shit anymore.
Yeah.
This is amazing though.
Yeah, that one's cool. It's a fun playing yo-yo too.
The plastic just like feels denser or something. Like it just feels like totally different plastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're right. I mean, YoYo Jam in general just
feels different from modern plastic yo-yos for some reason.
It's one of those things where everyone will say like there's not a big difference of things that were made in America versus made in China and elsewhere, because you can get nicer things made in China, you know what I mean, but like the baseline shit is like really bad, you know. Like I'm not being like negative about it. It's the same thing in America, you know, but like YoYo Jam, just because Dale, who owned YoYo Jam, made parts for like not helicopters, like airplanes, and like he made propellers and like parts for propeller engines and stuff like that. So I think he was just well aware of like the quality of things and how well things needed to be made and YoYo Jam players would have very interesting stories about rants that he would have about like other brands and the yo-yos they made and like how easy their designs were versus all the YoYo Jam designs. And he was right, you know what I mean? Because YoYo Jam had like a massive catalog, and like by 2007, 2008, YoYo Jam had probably released like 500 different yo-yos. You know what I mean?
You look back at YoYo Jam yo-yos too, and it's like, wow, like so many of them like were ahead of their time in like 2009, 2010. Like,
even back then, yeah. But they were like so out of the loop, like marketing wise or whatever you want to say, that they didn't hit, you know what I mean? Some of those yo-yos now, like remember the Accelerate, or there's so many random yo-yos. Yeah, there's like a Delrin cap on it pressed on like a metal hub, like
no, it's definitely Like, what was the Diamondback, Eric's yo-yo?
Yeah.
That yo-yo was
when I did the interview with Brandon Vu, he brought up the Legacy. He was like, that was his first yo-yo. I was like, that was a great yo-yo. That was like the last Cellcon injection molded yo-yo they made. It was a Cellcon Dark Magic.
Oh, with a big I remember that.
Metal washer on the inside. Yeah, it was so nice. But sorry, you were going to talk about
Speaking of Cellcon, we got the kick side, which I got this white kick side after I saw Alex Laziniak use one in that P to Pit freestyle that you talked about with Eric.
I've also used Annie Up by MOP in several freestyles because of that same freestyle.
Such a good song. I still legendary listen to that song all the time.
He's on his lunch break from P to Pit, goes to Massachusetts States, yo-yos, freestyles, gets third place, I think doesn't even stay for awards, just goes to yo-yos and then goes back to work at P to Pit.
And I'm pretty sure he grabbed stock kick sides. He had a black one and a white one.
He just grabbed them off the table.
Yeah, because they were still responsive. All yo-yo jams came responsive. And
he does a tug on stage.
Tug response.
And he kills it. Like, it's an amazing freestyle.
Yeah. So, just insane. Big, beefy freehand shape. Like, super beefy.
So underrated.
It was a Rick Wyatt signature.
They're $15 too. They were $5 cheaper than freehands. They came with a large bearing. Do you know what the CP stands for on the side? I think I told you. Cellcon Patriot.
No way.
Isn't that wild?
I was wondered. I was just going to ask you.
Andre told me that a few months ago. I texted him about it. I was like,
so the Patriot was, the predecessor with
dual O-ring.
Dual. Oh, was it dual O-ring? Okay.
AJ told me this story about
I think it was Starburst.
When the Patriot first came out, and I think you can still find photos of it. I know Doc Pop made a blog about it or posted photos of it. The first artwork for the Patriot was like Uncle Sam. You're good. It was Uncle Sam riding a bomb, ride him cowboy style, and that's like printed up
right
somewhere.
Around 9/11.
Yeah, it was right after 9/11. It's 2001 or no, maybe 2000 even. Because I think they did a 9/11 version of the Patriot. YoYo Jam did a 9/11 line, like a United We Stand line with cool
the 2 towers on it and stuff. Yeah.
Never forget.
Wow. Yeah, well, kick sides hold up. Great yo-yo.
Yeah, amazing yo-yo.
Indestructible. Fun.
Dude, they were great. I learned a lot of tricks on kick sides. Like, yeah, you said they're indestructible. Like, they're just great.
It was like the beefy
artwork is very cool.
Yeah.
It looks like a Volkswagen or something. Like, it looks like it could be cooler than a yo-yo. I don't know what it is. Johnny did such a good job with this era of yo-yo jam.
Between that
everything was so good.
Lynn Fury, you're set with plastic yo-yos because the Lynn Fury was a plastic hitman.
I had like 6 or 7 Lynn Furies at one point because they were so dope. Like, they were so cheap. Like, every 3 or 4 months, Mitchell's would get a new shipment of Lynn Furies and new colors. And they were just like, oh, cool. Like, I'm going to buy a Lynn Fury. Like, they're so nice. Like, and they were dual O-rings, so you could silicone them. They'd play amazing. Like, you could kind of tune them.
Here's a fun yo-yo, the Superstar. I think this is like an early run B grade.
First run.
First run B grade Superstar that I painted the rims because
Ando painted
his rims, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, we were both at that Worlds, right? 2008 Worlds.
I wasn't at 2008.
No? Oh, damn.
That's the one I skipped for some reason. Yeah,
it's okay.
I think I skipped. I might have been there. I don't know. I don't remember.
I swore you were there.
I probably was. I don't know.
Anyway,
if I was there or not, but either way, Ando obviously famously used the Superstar.
Painted Superstar.
Super cool. Holds up for sure. Just a good yo-yo. Predecessor to the Genesis, basically, right? I mean, pretty much.
I mean, Genesis was more inspired by Grind Machine too.
You're right. I have a Grind Machine 2 somewhere too.
Superstar is another yo-yo that I feel like they could just remake one for one nowadays, and like it's still pretty. I remember this felt abhorrently wide in 2009. I was like, "This is the widest yo-yo ever. No one's ever gonna make a yo-yo wider than this."
I thought my Grind Machine was in here, but it must be somewhere else. But anyway, then we have my favorite Yo-Yo Factory yo-yo ever, which we talked about a lot on the Goods episode, the 888, which is going to be my next yo-yo that I design and make. Going to be
it's an exact original
copy of the 888 because
it's the 6969.
It's perfect. That would be funny.
The bape.
Bape. Yeah, good idea. This one is actually, if you're familiar with Guy Wright and his groundbreaking video, The Letter Blue, this is the yo-yo he used for that video.
That's so wild.
Him and Elliot Jackson filmed back in, what was that, 2008 probably?
2008, yeah.
So he gave me this, and it's awesome. It still plays great to this day.
The first time I met Guy was at Massachusetts States, like 2008, 2009 or something, like right after The Letter Blue came out. And there was some guy on the forum that looked exactly like him. And like, it was his avatar, the guy who looked like Guy. And he like, it's something to do with his username was something blue or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's him. You know what I mean? And like the guy in one of the like, what do you do for a living posts was talking about how he's like some sort of chemical engineer or something. And everyone was like, wow, that's really cool. And I was like, man, Guy's so awesome. Like he does all these cool tricks. He's an engineer. Like this is sick. And I go to meet Guy at the contest and I was like, dude, so like I was reading online, you're like an engineer or something. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, you said like on YoYo Nation that you like work as a chemical engineer. I just
have a weed leaf tattooed on my ass.
I think he said that to me after.
Something like that.
He verbatim was like, I literally work at a sandwich counter in a deli. And I was like, oh shit, man. Like, my bad. He's like, no, it's fine. And then like, I think he even said that too. Like, I do have a weed tattoo on my ass. The weed leaf, a burning weed leaf tattooed on my ass. That was good times when Guy would show everyone his weed leaf tattoo and Spencer would show everyone his gauged balls.
Dookie's up to something too.
Dookie's shaving everyone's butts. Anyway, back to the 888. Guys, 888.
Yep, here it is.
Do the pub stack spin?
Yeah.
Wow.
I put fresh ones on. I was telling Kurti, he had black ones on it, but he lost them. He sent it to me with no stacks. So I actually hit up Ben and I was like, please tell me you have some hub stacks. And
that's funny.
He sent me a bunch. So
because the original 888 hub stacks are machined out of Delrin. Isn't that pretty luxury as fuck? These are the plastic. Yeah, those are just injection molded, but they're still fun. They work. Like they just feel a little different, you know?
Yeah, I mean? They aren't the same. You're right. So it's not completely accurate, but it is his yo-yo.
It's not completely accurate.
Not accurate to history.
Still good though.
I can't sit in my bedroom and replicate trick for trick his video.
What song did they use? The John Frusciante, whatever.
I think
the dude from the Red Hot
John
Chili Peppers.
Yeah. Maybe.
The one from Yeah Right.
Yeah. Might have been.
I'm like 100% positive almost. Someone should use that song again, though.
I love that song. It's called, I forget.
It's called like Murderers or something.
Murderers, yeah. All right. What do we got left?
Machine, Kurti.
We got left.
No one knows more about yo-yos than me. Sorry, Jay.
We got left my dunk rebound orange coming soon. It's a beautiful shade of orange.
That's gorgeous. That's one of the best oranges I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I'm about to remake the Joyride soon. I'm going to make a ton of those pumpkin ones, and I might
I should get some pumpkins engraved on these suckers. Yeah. That would be sick. And then we have a secret Kurti yo-yo that no one can see yet, but it's so good. You're going to be very excited about that.
Olive dunk, also great.
Yeah, and also still available. There's some olives left. Surprisingly, there's some olives and lilacs left.
The olive is so dope because like inside it definitely has the olive shade, but then if you're in a brighter light, it looks more yellow or like it's.
People were saying like, is that a gold? Because of the lighting in some of my photos, they thought it was like a gold yo-yo.
And also, if you haven't checked out, you should make a post like tie all those you dropping them together and make a reel out of that, like durability tests, and then you throwing the yo-yo. That's a good idea. A lot of use from that, yeah. But if you haven't seen that video yet, Jake literally throws this in the air like 10, 11 feet 4 or 5 times. It bounces so high that he just re-catches it. It's like an off-string area bounces. He just puts his arms out and then re-catches it.
It bounced like crazy.
And it plays perfect. Like if you were to test this and if you're a manufacturer, this could go in a package and be sold as an A-grade.
You'll see. We've filmed some 5A tricks. Me, Tyler, and Kurti.
That's so funny.
So that's the same.
Have you seen those videos yet of Jake throwing this in the air? He literally throws it like 5-6 feet over his head. It lets it drop right to like a concrete.
It bounced like this high off the ground.
Like he just puts his hands back out, catches it right back into a trapeze, like, and it still plays perfect. Like
we all used it. Hopefully we'll have that clip out.
But yeah, definitely my favorite color is the olive.
Yeah.
And then this orange is great. Orange is such a weird color to hit when you're making yo-yos. And if you aren't very specific to the manufacturer that it needs to be a dark orange, they'll make it a shitty red color. And then
I was glad it didn't come out red.
No, it turns out perfect. It looks great. This looks like a cup of Fanta or something.
That's exactly what someone DM'd me today. They're like, looking like a can of Fanta. Dude.
Yeah, dude, like, it looks great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 7075 yo-yos do have that aluminum can sheen to them.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, but
they look great though.
Yeah. Quality stuff we got going here. And then speaking of quality, we got the
some crazy fire.
Theodore and the Walter.
Got a wild berry truly.
Yeah. By Spencer Berry. These are just really unique yo-yos. I don't know too much about the history of them. He released them. They're highly sought after. They're meant to be responsive.
Yeah, I think Spencer just wanted to design. He was really into like the everyday carry thing where it was just like people where you try to like perfect an amount of shit to carry every day, or like he would, you try to design the best yo-yo to carry every day. Like people would be carrying like one notebook and it's their best notebook or whatever.
I think these are like his dream yo-yo.
Exactly.
Also. Like the Dunk is mine. This is like his. Spencer Berry has a very unique style. He's very into the reward you get from playing responsive and challenging yourself in that sense. And these yo-yos are very like the Walter's incredibly slimline. They both are. The Theodore's a little bit bigger, but
they are and they aren't. It's like, I don't know.
Super unique shapes, especially the Walter, like just a crazy shape.
They're both modified shapes. Like there's enough gap for you to do whatever trick you'd want to with either one. It's just, they both have very unique feels. Like the Walter is, I don't know. I'd love to do, like a yo-yo with him.
Yeah. Just a unique manufacturer of someone. It's just exciting when he comes out with a yo-yo.
Yeah. They're very akin to anti-yo, where it's just like it's almost like an art piece every time, and it's like he puts so much work into the aesthetic, and like you can just tell he did so much tweaking of like, oh, I want this, how subtle the like hub is for where the response pad like is compensated for, like every little bit. It's just like, okay, like you can tell he put extra effort and care and attention into every part.
It's my world's.
Yeah.
It's a funny story. My world's medal is being held with a safety pin on here. While I was on stage, my second place in 2006,
I remember that.
It fell off the fucking ribbon. And so I was just holding it sort of up like for the photos and stuff. And I fixed it with a safety pin, but my medal literally came apart on stage. So that's what you get for second in the world, is the medal falls apart. You don't get much. And this Trick Innovator of the Year. This one's nice quality. This one didn't fall apart, but it's still just a sticker on the back of the medal. Just says 2007 Trick Innovator. Couldn't get the engraving.
Prestigious.
Just a sticker. Just a sticker. Throw a sticker on there. It's coming off.
To me, though, Trick, like we talked about in your episode, and I think I said, like, when I was introducing it, I'm like, Trick Innovator of the Year when it still mattered. It's like beings that like Yuki and Jesse Garcia and Paul Escolar and Johnny DeValier, like all these dudes who are literally our heroes, like were giving their thumbs up, like, yes, Drake is the cool guy. Like, we want him to be Innovator of the Year along with John Robb. And like, that's just cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's the medal's so irrelevant.
I'm very honored. I'm joking around completely.
No, I'm not saying you should. I think it's
funny to complain about the medals, but
I mean, I threw my fucking third place Nationals medal in the Delaware River.
Yeah.
Every time I do one of those, Kyle Weems sends me the most funny, not mean, but like he's just upset. He's like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like every time he's just like, this is so disrespectful. Yeah. I'm like, oh my
people
God.
Don't like it, but
it is what it is. It's funny.
It's funny for sure. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. But anyway, that's the highlights of my collection, I would say.
It's kind of funny that, I don't know, like these, you, like we said, you probably have like 100, 150 yo-yos overall, but it's like, yeah, you have a lot of duplicates or like a lot of stuff that's like, it's all cool to you, but it's not like these are the highlights, you know what I mean? The coolest stuff. And
yeah.
I don't know.
No, they're all special to me. They all have stories.
We're all looking at the ground now because that's where they
Yeah, they're down there. We put them on the floor, but
that's how important they are.
We'll play with some of them and
Yeah, at least I got to film tricks of them, yeah. Or a couple of them. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing us, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.